Cage goes in the water, you go in the water, shark's in the water. Our shark. Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. We received orders to sail back to Boston. Welcome to Real Wonders, where we talk about some of my favorite films of all time. We'll discuss some film history, important themes, and some filmmaking magic. My name is Rick Massey, and today I'll be your guide through Jaws. In 1975, Steven Spielberg revolutionized filmmaking with the release of Jaws, one of the most culturally significant films ever made. Starring Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyffuss, Jaws created the concept of the summer blockbuster and forever changed how movies were marketed and distributed. In the 50 years since its release, the film has received widespread critical acclaim and continues to still resonate with audiences due to its timeless storytelling, rich character development, and masterful suspense. This is by far one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. Not a summer passes without me giving it a traditional watch. So why is it so critically revered? I mean, yes, Jaws is technically a monster movie. Yes, there is a giant shark on the film's now iconic poster. But though the shark is the driving force of the plot, I'd strongly argue that Jaws is ultimately about the three main characters. Police Chief Martin Brody,
I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
marine biologist Matt Hooper,
Tiger shark.
and shark hunter Quint.
This shark, swallow you whole.
Each man represents a different world perspective. Brody and his morality, Hooper and his intellect, and Quint with his vendetta. They're all flawed, but relatable. And we love their camaraderie.
What is it?
We want them to win. We love Jaws because we see ourselves in these guys. We see ourselves in their fear, we see ourselves in their humor, their shortcomings, and their resilience. Brody is the emotional anchor of the story. This poor guy is just trying to do the right thing.
I mean, we've already had 3 incidents. 2 people killed inside of a week, and it's gonna happen again. It happened before. The Jersey Beach,
1916, there were
5 people chewed up in the surf.
in 1 week.
Tell them about the swimmers.
But he's got to deal with a killer shark and political agendas. He's our moral compass. So by the end of the film, when he rises to the occasion, his hero status feels completely earned.
Well, you son of a...
Quick side note. Jaws has one of the most popular, yet most misquoted movie lines of all time. So let's clarify it here. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
The making of Jaws was famously troubled, with numerous production mishaps and on-set personality issues that nearly sank the film. Originally scheduled for a 55-day shoot, Jaws ended up taking 159 days to complete. Universal Studios became increasingly anxious about the increasing budget and extended schedule. One of the major problems stemmed from the mechanical shark, nicknamed Bruce after Spielberg's lawyer, Bruce Raymer. The shark would frequently malfunction due to saltwater corrosion. Through a bit of serendipity, technical difficulties forced Spielberg to imply the shark's presence through clever camera work and editing instead of showing it directly. It allowed the audience's imagination to fill in the gaps. A great example is the barrel scene.
Now! Shoot! Time!
What were you doing? You knew I had to get a clean shot right in the head. All right, let's see how long that barrel takes to bring him up. Bring another barrel! I'm coming around again!
Spielberg is quoted as saying, "The barrels were a godsend because I didn't need to show the shark as long as those barrels were around." What you don't see is generally scarier than what you do see. To that point, Do you want to take a guess at how many minutes of screen time the shark has? Out of the film's nearly 2 hours and 10 minutes of runtime, the shark is only on screen for approximately 4 minutes. But why does this film frighten some part of us? It's because Jaws powerfully explores themes of isolation and the fear of the unknown. After one of the film's lighter moments, a fun scar-sharing group therapy session, we're brought down to reality with Quint's monologue about the USS Indianapolis. The USS Indianapolis was a real World War II naval disaster where hundreds of sailors were stranded in shark-infested waters after delivering components of the atomic bomb. Many of the sailors died from shark attacks. It's Quint's account of the events that remind us that these threats are real.
3 hours later, a big fat PBY comes down and starts to pick us up. You know, that was the time I was most frightened, waiting for my turn. I'll never put on a life jacket again. So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The Sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945. Anyway, we delivered the bomb.
If the stakes weren't clear by this point, they are now. The horror elements of Jaws had a profound cultural impact. After its release, beach attendance across the US dropped significantly as people feared shark attacks. And you can't talk the feelings of looming dread in this film without mentioning John Williams' iconic score. 2 alternating notes. That's all it took. Those notes do not accompany the villain, they are the villain. Relentless, terrifying, it transformed the unseen into a looming threat and became a character. Now, here's something for the film nerds. Let's talk about the Spielberg oneer.
A what?
A Spielberg oneer is a cinematic technique where a single shot, without cuts, conveys significant story and character information. Spielberg is a master of the oneer, using movement, composition, and actor placement to tell a story fluidly within one shot. A perfect example is the scene where Chief Brody, Hooper, and Mayor Vaughn examine the vandalized Amity Island billboard.
Great white, Larry. A big one. And any shark expert in the world will tell you it's a killer. It's a man-eater.
Look, the situation is that apparently a great white shark has staked a claim in the waters off Amity Island. And he is going to continue to feed here as long as there is...
In this scene, Spielberg uses the oneer to visually emphasize the tension between Brody, Hooper, and Mayor Vaughn. As the characters move around the billboard, the camera moves with them, never breaking, creating a sense of real-time urgency. Brody's pacing and anxiousness shows his growing frustration, while Hooper often steps into the frame to challenge Vaughn with logic. Vaughn tries to control the conversation by physically positioning himself between the others and deflecting their concerns. The uninterrupted shot keeps the energy building, letting us feel the tension, just like the characters do. Jaws remains an iconic film because it combined deep character development, our universal themes of fear and survival, and a bit of cinematic magic. Spielberg elevated Jaws beyond simple horror into a cinematic masterpiece. Jaws is a thrilling, smart, and deeply emotional experience that rightfully remains one of the greatest films of all time. And one other point. It had a pretty awesome ride at Universal Studios.
You want it? We got it.
I'm Rick Mossy with Real Wonders. Until next time, show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago and it went right to my head.